The things that degrowth calls for cannot happen within capitalism. It's antithetical to capitalism. And in fact, this is the reason why degrowth gets so much hate. It's interesting. I had a conversation with a leading figure of degrowth recently, and I was like, well, we actually should stop using the term because people hate it. And he was like, you have to understand, people don't hate it because it sounds negative. They hate it because they can see that it's anti-capitalist. They hate it because it's very apparent that this is against the interests of capital accumulation and, furthermore, requires democratic control over production and planning, right? Because you're going to have to plan the downscaling of some forms of production and the upscaling of others. This cannot occur under capitalism as we know it. And so that's why there's a backlash from the right. And so I think that given that fact, what we actually want to do is play into that terrain more directly. Like, let's rid ourselves of the confusion. This is really about class struggle. This is really about who controls the means of production.
Well, quite.
And so let's make the movement actually is socialism.
Yeah.
We have to build a movement for socialism that has the possibility of taking power and overcoming capitalist control of production, asserting democratic control over our own productive capacities so that we can address our social and ecological crises. That's the movement. That's the objective. I think that degrowth is properly understood as a piece of socialist transformation that applies specifically to rich countries. And again, I think one of the major misunderstandings of degrowth, and this is another reason why it triggers so much anger, is that people immediately think, oh, this is about denying development to the global south. No, it is fundamentally the opposite of that. It is specifically targeted at those nations that dramatically overshoot their planetary boundaries and have to reduce material and energy use to achieve sustainability. That does not apply to countries in the imperial periphery, where we know that in most cases, they need to increase their use of energy and resources to build out the infrastructure necessary to ensure good lives for all, right? So that entails aggregate increasing production, in other words, growth. Of course, a socialist development project in the periphery, like in China now, should not target growth for its own sake, but should target the necessary forms of production for human well-being. And right now, in most global south countries, that would entail an aggregate increase in production. So that's the key, I think. I think that the socialism is the main objective here, and should be our rallying cry.